Good evening, everybody. It's Mike Tedesco of Wrestleview.com here for Post-Raw number 7. Raw was live tonight from Dallas, Texas, and yeah, it was a show. It was a little laborious to get through at certain points, but we're going to get through it as best as we can. You know, we're going to have some fun. We always have fun here anyway, because this show is all about fun, because at the end of the day, wrestling should be about fun. And there's no one I have more fun talking about wrestling with than my wife, Victoria. What's going on, Victoria?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right, yeah. Lisa, I think I know where you're going to vote on this show tonight. I kind of have a feeling of like what...
Oh, you definitely have an idea.
Yeah. So why don't you why don't you fill us in as to how you felt about this show tonight?
There's no doubt in my mind. I don't need a thumbs in the middle for this one. Thumbs down all the way.
Yeah.
I don't need a thumbs in the middle for this.
I know. It was like, you know, it was like one of those shows tonight where they did a lot of stuff. I mean, they had stiff competition.
Yes.
Competition that was so stiff that even on the preview for the Raw recap tonight, Adam always kicks those things up for me, and it says, Raw is facing stiff competition tonight from the Emmys and whatever else was going on. Oh, yeah,
Emmys,
Monday Night Football, of course, yeah.
That's just a given, and then
that's
the Emmys.
Given, yeah.
A lot of good shows out there. People are going to tune in.
Yeah, people are going to tune in that rather than, you know, good old wrestling. And, I mean, like, even the interactions, you know, that we usually get on the comment section.
There's only 3 comments right now.
You know, it's the time of year where people just aren't really just that interested in wrestling. I mean, that's all there is to it. I wish they were a little more interested, because then maybe WWE would kick it up a notch. But again, like, I can't really say that they didn't try. My big qualm with them is that I sometimes feel like they don't try at all, which is like, you know, a little disheartening.
There were definitely elements of the show where it seemed like they try to gauge your interest a little bit more than usual.
Yes. Yeah, of course. You know, I mean, like, this was a show tonight where we had the Universal Championship defended. Granted, it was against Baron Corbin, but, you know, they still, you know, that's trying, I guess. Rollins versus Ziggler, of course, you know, that's the only thing that really stood out to me tonight. There's also
that was my favorite part of the night.
There's also a tremendous appearance by Leo Rush, which was surprisingly pretty darn good too. But I'm kind of curious to see like what everybody thinks of Raw, and I'm kind of guessing we'll probably get like a whole bunch of people that probably didn't watch it that just automatically assume, well, it's gonna be
down.
It's gonna suck. So let's check it out. Oh yeah. Thumbs down so far. It's only been up for a little over 15 minutes.
I was going to say like 15 minutes roughly, right?
About that tops. 37% thumbs up, 63% thumbs down with 30 votes. Yeah, people aren't feeling this Raw tonight. I can't say. It's not going to be like one of those nights where I'm very forgiving. This is one of those nights where it's just... yeah, this was a show. It happened. Let's talk about it, but we'll see. Let's say hi to everybody who's in the chat right now with us. We have a couple people with us. We got Billy with us, Quentin, Frank McMahon. He goes. I'm playing NHL 19 while listening. I bet you whatever game he's playing on NHL 19 is probably like superior to Raw. While we were setting up, Modern Family came on, and we were like, wow, like we only watched like 10 minutes of it. Yeah, we like watched 10 minutes of it. We're like, this is already like more entertaining than Raw was tonight. Although,
well, it's just you know what it was. It was such a like.
It just drags.
It dragged because for many reasons. One, it was in competition, so it's just kind of like it. 2, it's the fall, like you said.
Yeah.
And 3, it was like
bummer.
Such a letdown from last night, because I think overall Hell in a Cell was great. You know, I mean, I know a lot of people weren't happy with the ending, which is fine, but I think overall it got great reviews.
Yeah, people agreed with it. I believe I saw. I mean, it's been it's been one of those days where it's just like, okay, like 15,000 things happened,
right?
But yeah. Oh no, here it is. 62% of the people gave Hell in a Cell a thumbs up.
Right.
You know, out of 252 votes, that's pretty
relatively
convincing.
A good Hell in a Cell. So from that to this, it's like,
I know.
You almost kind of expected it too.
Well, it was the fallout from Hell in a Cell. I did kind of expect a little more, particularly with the Brock Lesnar thing, where he made his really surprise return last night. We talked about that with Adam Martin, which is available on demand on YouTube and for download on iTunes. And speaking of iTunes and YouTube, we thank everybody for joining us tonight and being with us. And we thank you for if you downloaded us and you're listening to us right now. This is
I promise we're not phoning it in.
No, we're not. We're not phoning this one in. No, we're gonna have some fun. So I guess we've kind of delayed it enough. Even our dishwasher is giving up in the back. I don't know if anybody can hear it, but we got a dishwasher going on right now.
Sorry, we're in an apartment.
Yeah, it's like life is going on around us as well. But even our dishwasher's like, okay, I'm done with Raw. I'm going to sleep. But we're gonna go through this. We're gonna get through it. All right, Raw kicked off. Of course, they had to have a long video package. It's like video packages have been dominating WWE programming.
I know, to start off the show,
Roman Reigns talked about how last night was rough, brutal, and didn't go to plan for him. He came out, he wasn't over the top with his selling, but he was definitely selling something. He was
selling.
Which is a nice change of pace. And we kind of talked about, me and Victoria talked about this during the show, and I'd like to, of course, talk about it during this show, because that's probably more important than us just talking to ourselves. That it's nice to see that after a big match, people are selling again the next day. That they went through a period of time where it was you had a grueling match, don't sell anything. Just go through it. So everybody basically who was involved in a Hell in a Cell match sold, which was
They did. We did talk about that a lot during the actual show, but I was pleasantly surprised to see Reigns walking out and not, like you said, not doing a lot, but he was doing something. And for him to do something, and especially the way Vince is don't sell, no, don't sell. So it's nice to see that somebody's they're trying a little bit of a different direction where right. It brings importance to the matches that they have.
Of course. It's not okay, well, this show existed in a vacuum and now it's over and we're just going to completely forget about
Absolutely.
it. Because so often it's they do all these pay-per-views and stuff happens and there's no ramifications, there's no long-term effects. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of nice to see okay, they're going to at least sell for the day.
Right,
or something
because
it's
they're
going to pick up an injury that might last them into next week. And
it played into the, whether the segments were good or not is debatable, but it played into the segment. Yes. It would be because you were hurt, this, that, and the other thing, and was going on.
Yeah, it's not like when they throw Kevin Owens off the top of a steel cage through a table, and then next week on Raw he's back and nothing's going on.
Woo!
Yeah. Hey, I got thrown off a table.
I got thrown off a table.
Amazing.
Oh, okay.
This is fun. What the hell just happened? But yeah, it's nice to see people sell. That's all I got to say about that. It's that's the whole purpose of this.
Wait, we said we would mention this because we didn't get to last week.
Is there something that we...
There was a greater Hell in a Cell match than the one that took place last night.
Oh my God. This was legendary. Okay, so let me give a little backstory to this. When me and Victoria first moved in together, I brought my console, with me. I had the PlayStation 4 at the time, yeah. And we were playing one of the WWE games from years ago. It was 5-6 years ago now.
Yeah, now it was even when we moved in. I think I was still.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
it was before.
Was it at my mom's house?
Yes, yeah. It was before you moved in. 2011, 2012.
Yeah, because Karma was on this game, so it had to be 2012.
Yeah.
Okay. And Victoria's she's just getting into wrestling. Really, I mean, she started with The Miz in 2011. She caught him right at the end of that WWE Championship run, and then it was long suffering since then.
But I
He's back.
Knew The Miz beforehand from the real world.
I know.
I was a fan.
So I was she was watching me play the game and whatever, because that's just what good girlfriends do. They sit and watch their boyfriends play video games. And then she's like, "Oh, I want to try a match." And I was like, "Go ahead."
What kind of match do you want to try?
Make your own match. I showed her how to get to special matches, and she chose a Hell in a Cell. And I was like, "Okay, this is gonna be interesting," because she's never played this damn game before. And who did you pick again?
I had Eve Torres versus Karma.
Eve Torres versus Karma, and
they both went to the top of the cell.
It was one of the best matches I've ever seen.
And
like,
Eve Torres,
fake or real,
knocked
like on TV,
knocked Karma through the cell.
Yeah, no, you powerbombed like Karma off the cell through the commentary table, powerbombed her through the cell. It was wild. And then you went back to the cell, and then you just kind of, I remember you fell through the hole. It was unbelievable. It was actually better than any Hell in a Cell match I saw
versus
last night.
Karma is the best Hell in a Cell match.
Yes.
Just throwing that out there.
Odd. It's an odd show tonight.
I don't know why it chose so stupid.
I don't know either, but this is an odd show.
Sorry, I just had to mention that.
I know. So, the one thing I didn't like about Reigns' promo before anything else happened, because I thought this segment was very, very average at best. I think it's like really weird for the face champion to come out and kind of gloat about waking up as champion the next day when he
really do
didn't
anything.
beat anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
that was strange.
And he was like, so, it's just odd to me that like they had a no contest last night. I mean, I get it. They didn't want to beat anybody.
I know.
I talked about this with Adam again, so I don't want to beat a dead horse. But, Jeff Hardy obviously couldn't continue last night. And they still, Randy Orton still got the referee to count the pin, stuff like that.
Right.
A lot less got done to Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns, and they couldn't continue. So it was like really weird. So it was like a weird bad ending, and then it's like, oh well, I'm still the champion. Cheer me. It's like that's not.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal for no doubt, but.
It's just not, it just, like, it's like if AJ Styles comes out tomorrow night on SmackDown.
But that wasn't the worst part about this, though.
No, I know, but I'm saying it's like if AJ Styles comes out on SmackDown tomorrow night, it's like, hey, I'm still the champion, but, like, we know he tapped out, you saw the replay and all that stuff. It's just odd.
It was odd, but it wasn't the worst thing about this. Like, it was a little bit...
Oh, no, it got worse.
It got worse, for sure.
It got worse. Braun Strowman, who we honestly feel is not committed to his heel turn, it just doesn't feel like it. Did the generic heel thing, saying that this is crap. You should be thankful Lesnar came down last night, and that's the only reason you still have the championship. When he's done with, he's gonna get Brock Lesnar, and when he's done with Lesnar, he's coming after Reigns and all that stuff. And that sends out Baron Corbin, our favorite. Yeah, Victoria's face says it all right there. Go ahead.
No,
I'm waiting for you.
I don't know. The whole thing, and I have it on my notes, is just uncomfortable. Like the entire thing from start to finish just made me not even cringe. It just made me feel weird. Like it made me just I just didn't know how to feel. But it made me feel like I was witnessing this awkward conversation in a supermarket that I really shouldn't be listening to, and then everybody's just kind of eavesdropping, and it kind of just went into this whirlwind of awkwardness. But I couldn't get into it at all. And then when they talk about how they're, when Baron Corbin comes out, he's like, "Oh, don't worry, you're gonna get your triple threat match at." Crown Jewel. It's like, really?
Oh yeah, Crown Jewel.
And first of all, I'm going to be honest with you. If you wind up recapping it,
I probably will.
Okay, fine. I refuse to watch it. I just do. I just think I'm throwing this out there. I think it's completely wrong. It makes Evolution look like a joke. It makes it look it's just, okay, here's your... we're really sorry that we can't support you, and equality, equal, whatever, but for you, oh no, but you can't come here, so here's Evolution, here's our all women's pay-per-view, but I don't know, I can't support it, I really can't, so you will not see me watching it, you won't see me really talk about it much either. I can't support a company, well, not that, okay, well, I obviously still watch WWE. I'm here now. I'm watching Raw. I watch SmackDown. I watch the pay-per-views. Fine. But I cannot support this. I just can't. I think it's completely wrong that they're doing this to these women. And fine. All the money in the world. You want to talk about an Evolution? what hypocrites are you that the fact that they even had to apologize for a video package and a female was in it and they were like, oh my gosh, a woman was on there. It's wrong to me. And then, they're giving this like tease of this triple threat, and it's like, why are they deserving of it when we can't even have our female superstars represent the company?
Okay, yeah, we skipped ahead a little bit because Baron Corbin came out and announced the match at Crown Jewel, which is going to happen on November 2nd at the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. They're returning there for the second time this year, which we all knew was coming. We didn't know when it was coming. And then that brought up Paul Heyman, and they do that whole entire shtick. I have a major problem with it too. I get it. It's a lot of money to turn down, right?
But you do it.
Well, I mean, they're at the end of the day, they're a corporation, and they got to make money, and it is wrong. And honestly, we didn't know the date of Crown Jewel. The only real problem I have with it, the only problem I have, more of a role for women in their society and stuff like that, and I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not going to get into a political debate about it.
No,
but the only real problem that I had with it is that we didn't know the date. WWE knew this date well in advance, and it's the same week as Evolution. And now, like, to me, and it might just be to me.
Well, I just said it before.
Well, hold on. It might just be me, and it might just be Victoria. But now Evolution kind of comes off as a consolation prize for the women, rather than like, okay, we're doing this thing because we want to be revolutionary. Now it seems like they booked Evolution and this all-female pay-per-view because they don't want to get any backlash from the media, because they did get backlash from the media in April when they went to Saudi Arabia and didn't bring any of their women. If WWE wants to be progressive and, fend off negative media, they should at least make a deal with Saudi Arabia that says, like, hey, we have no problem coming over there and, whining and dining with the princes and all that stuff out there. But you have to allow us to have Renee Young come with us. She won't come out before the live crowd. She's not going to appear. We're not going to show her on screen, on the big screens, in the arena, but she's going to commentate, and she's going to be backstage, and she's going to commentate on the show. That, to me, is like a little more progress than just like, okay, we're going to have Evolution just to shut everybody up, because that's now how it feels to me.
Well, that's what I said before, and I completely agree with you. I feel like it's just like, it makes it look like a joke almost. Like, this is just, okay, here you go. Shut up now.
Yeah.
Like,
and even to
the even the female superstars, like, oh, I don't want to hear it.
And the other thing that kind of bothers me about it too, and it's a country with questionable morals. I mean, every country does, but
I'm not getting political on this. I think it's a cultural thing. Fine,
socially kind of, but I don't want to insult anybody's country and stuff like that.
No, not at all.
That's not what I'm trying to do. But it's like, it's just not a good look for a company that, it's like they talk out of both ends of their mouth. It's like, oh, we want to be progressive with women, but at the same time, we're not going to go to bat for them, and we're going to sell to the highest bidder.
I have to be honest with you. I'm surprised more women on the roster haven't said anything.
They never talk bad about WWE. You know who talks bad about WWE? The people who are unemployed by WWE.
Right.
They'll never talk bad.
I'm just saying, somebody who has more pull, a female who has pull, would just. You don't think someone like Charlotte should say something?
She doesn't have that much pull. She's protecting her spot too. But at the end of the day, it's not WWE. It's the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia that's not allowing this.
I understand that,
but I know, like, WWE should just, they made $1 billion on Fox. Did they really need another like $100 million from the Saudis? I don't know. But if, they think, and I guess I got to give them props for thinking that they're going to be part of this cultural movement in the Saudi Arabia by having wrestling, and eventually they're going to have women wrestle on the show like in 5 years of their 10-year deal. Maybe they think that's actually going to happen. If that ever happens, that remains to be seen. But right now they're thinking that, we're going to use this to boost ourselves and show that, not only are we, a piece of Americana, but now we are culturally transcending other countries. I don't know.
I don't know, but the bottom line is that
but for right now, it's a bad look.
It's a bad look. I don't agree with it, and it makes me question evolution.
Right.
Entirely.
And as Quentin says, the superstars are just puppets on the string. They're going to do what they're going to do what they're told, and it's nothing to do with the talent.
Yeah.
It's the decision makers in WWE that I have a little bit of a problem with, because I just don't. I would like to know a game plan of like when they plan on bringing women there, and when they go back in April, are we going to get another all-female pay-per-view as a consolation prize again? We shall see. But anyway, back to this segment.
So they Baron Corbin said that they're going to have the triple threat crown jewel, and then Braun says this all sucks.
yeah, that was actually really great. He goes. So he announced the thing, and Strowman goes, "Well, I think that sucks." And Corbin sucks, and Reigns, you most definitely suck, and this whole sucks. In fact, generic heel stuff, and he's not really 100% into it. You could tell.
But you know what, though, and I know you're getting to this because obviously you're recapping, but when Paul Heyman came out, I just couldn't even get into Paul Heyman, and I really like Paul Heyman.
I know.
It did nothing for me.
Yeah, it's not. It wasn't his best work, and like right now, all this feels like it was thrown together because again, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, they want what they want. When they booked the show in April, it was like, get us the guy with the cowboy hat and get us the guy with the crown because the prince used to watch WWF in the 90s. Mm-hmm. So he knows Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, and he wanted them there. So they had them on the pre-show. They flew Jim Ross out to Saudi Arabia to get him there. They obviously like Brock Lesnar, and they want him there. And the money's too good. Even though Lesnar is in training camp and he's doing all that stuff, the money's too good to pass up. I mean, damn it. Shawn Michaels is most likely coming, and we'll talk about the Undertaker segment in a few minutes, but Shawn Michaels is most likely coming out of his retirement at Saudi Arabia at 5 in the morning in the United States.
They don't deserve it.
Okay. let's not be too rough. I know. I know. It's not the country.
No.
There's a lot of progressive people in the country.
It's not the country. No offense to Australia, if that Super Showdown, even with the Undertaker with Shawn Michaels, I just don't think I don't think it's that of all places. This is where you're going to come out of retirement.
I know they must be paying him a ton of money, and it's just too good to pass up. And
I'm not saying because of the country. I don't want anyone thinking of like whatever.
No, I know that, but it's what it is. It's a business, and they're all trying to make money and. I do have major issues with them going over to Saudi Arabia. I truly do, and it's nothing. And again, it's nothing to do with the Saudi people themselves.
I have no
because there's so many progressive, Saudis out there. Well, in fact, I remember seeing one on Twitter when Greatest Royal Rumble was happening, and he's like, the majority of us want to move forward. Of course. It's the government.
And I'm not saying anything.
But the government's running this thing.
That's what I'm saying. I'm avoiding a political, debate here. It's nothing to do with the people. It's nothing to do with the country. I'm sure there are very many progressive people. And even if they're not progressive, fine. That's your beliefs. I don't agree with them personally. Whatever. But I don't agree with the fact that WWE should be going over there. It's not a matter of like, whatever they think. If that's what their morals lie, that's them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't agree with it. I'm not insulting anybody. I just don't agree with the fact. I have major reservations about them continuing this deal with them. Yeah. It's like,
but they're locked in, and they're just gonna keep taking that money, and it's up to their government now to live up to the agreement. I know that because that they want, that WWE wants to have the women there eventually, and but it's just like selling your morals, selling your. I mean, not that no corporations really do have morals. I mean, and again, now we're getting a little political here, but to sell your morals right up the stream to do basically a 4-hour public service announcement for Saudi Arabia is not a good look unless they are really making changes. I mean, like they were bragging that like they just let women start driving in the last like year. So I think we got a long way to go before women start wrestling on this show.
Right.
Anyway, so like I was trying to say before, was that the money's so good that it's like, okay, well, let's just throw Lesnar in there. They probably want him there. So Heyman comes out there and he's trying to create some sort of story for Brock Lesnar to be there.
Didn't work.
And it just didn't work. It was one of his weaker, definitely one of his weaker promos that he's ever
I just
had.
don't know if it was weak as much as it was just, there was really nothing to it other than just, it just seemed phoned in.
Yeah.
This whole segment seemed pretty much phoned in.
Yeah.
I guess he was working with what he had, essentially.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
And
then after that, Corbin. Braun Strowman,
big match of the night.
Braun Strowman chases Paul Heyman up the ramp, and then Corbin says like, "Oh, you might not even make it to the crown jewel in Saudi Arabia because as champion because you're gonna defend your Universal Championship tonight against me." Just what we wanted. Baron Corbin getting a title shot in the main event.
It used to be nice. I didn't know what was worse. I'm like, okay. He was opening up the show, and then he was like for 3 weeks in a row he was in the opening match, and now it's like, oh, I kind of wish it was that case now. I wish he was just in the beginning, and then we could forget about him. We have to see him in the main event.
I know. He's been going against Finn Balor for it seems like an eternity. Balor wasn't even on the show tonight.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Actually, I didn't even notice until I just thought about Finn Balor right now. Because he adds absolutely nothing to the show.
Oh, Corbin.
So, like, the whole premise of tonight was, like, trying to beat down the Shield, essentially.
Right.
And
that was, like, the theme of the show.
That was the theme of the show, was trying to, like, pick the scraps of the Shield from Hell in a Cell. Now, Dean Ambrose and Drew McIntyre, they fought on top of the cell, and they took, like, one bump on top of the cell, but, like, that was it. So, like, they were the least beat up of the three of the crew. So they had the first match. Obviously there wasn't much to sell, for them, no lingering effects. So I actually thought that they had a pretty good match.
I did too, and I like how they started off the show with that match. And I like how they were working into the singles matches more, and that they really kept it to like no interferences.
Yes.
And it was interesting how Drew won clean. It really was.
Drew McIntyre is like, I think, Dolph Ziggler has really enjoyed a career renaissance or resurgence or resurrection, whatever you want to call it, with Drew McIntyre by his side. Initially, when I saw the pairing, I was like, oh, God, they're putting Drew McIntyre with Dolph Ziggler. And anytime really somebody comes up from NXT and faces Ziggler, it's like the kiss of death. And I was like,
now it's the complete opposite.
Now it's the complete opposite. They finally found a working combination for Dolph Ziggler.
Well, yeah.
Granted, it was Baron Corbin and Tyler Breeze.
But, I think Drew was helping Dolph out more than Dolph was helping Drew.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. Drew McIntyre adds a lot to that team. And I think at the end of the day, he's going to be the big focus. I know he's going to be the big focus.
As he should be.
As he should be. He's got a great look. He's got great pace in the ring. He's a big dude, and he moves around like somebody half his size. It's a great look, and he's gonna represent the company well whenever they make a move to put him on top or whatever it is that they do. But like he's finally when he first had his run when he was the chosen one by Vince McMahon, I'll never forget recapping that because I was like Drew McIntyre.
I remember that theme music.
Oh, it was so bad. And Drew McIntyre was like he was so young at the time, and obviously there was something there, but it wasn't connecting, and he needed a lot more seasoning. And his wrestling attire, it made him look like he was wrestling in granny panties for the entire his entire run. And then they finally just put him with 3MB, and that was okay, but you're not going to get anywhere with 3MB. And then it's like, okay,
definitely not getting a title shot with that.
And then it was like, just go figure it out, man. And he figured it out. He is pretty
he's in his
good.
niche, and the agility between amongst the both of them with the match.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was great.
It was a fun match. The crowd was like really. This crowd was. It's like they knew.
It's
like they knew. You know, how did they not know?
They foresaw this is not going to be great.
They knew the deal. You know, it was.
I actually felt bad for them. It's Texas. You'd think they'd be like.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Dallas. Dallas is a big town for them.
Yeah, big wrestling. You know, I don't know.
You know. Like it wasn't a bad match, but like, you know, it's like we've talked about this before, where it's Dean Ambrose just going into the barricade for anybody who's watching us live or watching us on YouTube. And if you're not watching, I'm just watching Dean Ambrose fly into a barricade, which is fun. What was I going to say? I don't even remember now. Oh yes, we talked about this before, where it's like, you know, the crowd really determines sometimes how I feel about a match, and I thought this was a good match. But it got taken down to like average, because the crowd was so sleepy. They, you know, they still got some stuff, but it was just like stuff that just happened in a vacuum, and by next week it'll all be forgotten.
I would be mad if I had to pay a lot of money to see that Raw. Like if people were, you know, and they were like, oh, you know, I haven't been to a Raw in a while, and I know, pay money. I
mean, you still go to the shows. You still have a good time, and we've gone to shows around this time of the year. And in fact, we're going to go to SmackDown in October, and we're going to go to Evolution. So we'll be going to shows around this time of the year, and you know, we have a good time with them. You know, every now and then something special happens on those Raws. I remember going to one Raw in October in Brooklyn, and The Rock came out out of nowhere, which was something. It was good. That was about the only good thing on that show, because that show was so abysmal otherwise. But didn't Kathleen Lee and Hoda come out on that show too?
Yes, they did.
It was terrible. That was terrible. So, yeah. McIntyre, Ambrose, they worked hard. The crowd didn't really get into it. I really like Drew McIntyre going over clean with that finish, just like you were talking about.
I think that was important.
And
it's very telling.
Yeah,
too, because
there's something about it.
Well, because if you think about it, with the Shield, Reigns wins, Rollins wins.
Yep.
Ambrose doesn't.
Oh yes, that's a good point too.
So it's like
yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Is he having the shortcomings of the group, and is that going to be
right? He's the only one without a title,
right?
Yeah, is Dean Ambrose going to be like, you know, eventually is it going to build to that? I mean, I'd like to. I mean, because I like Dean Ambrose with this new look, and I think he really does look great. I would like to see him kind of break away a little bit and kind of branch out on his own. Mm-hmm. He had that one run as the WWE champion in 2016, which was like hit or miss at best. I think the best match that he had was the match where he lost it against AJ Styles. I'd like to see Ambrose though kind of get a run as a singles heel rather than like goofy Dean Ambrose. Mm-hmm. And the one good thing that's the best of the entire comeback so far, the rebound clothesline is dead. Dead.
Finito.
He hasn't used it on a pay-per-view. He hasn't done it. Oh, so very, very good.
Just gone.
It's good. That's good. To me, that's very, very good.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to run down the show tonight rather than
why
like
not?
pick the major stuff. Let's just cycle through this. I mean, 'cause some of the stuff can be real quick. Like, the other part of the first hour was Chad Gable taking on Victor from the Ascension.
Oh my gosh. I love how we were debating though, but you predicted, I mean, maybe just because you know wrestling.
I do,
but
I think.
you just like predict this entire show. I'm like, did you write this entire show?
You're at least the first hour.
You're like, Chad Gable is going to go against Victor. I'm like, what about Connor? You're like, no, it's Victor.
It's got to be Victor. They're like because there's no way that you're gonna. It's not believable for Chad Gable to really just like start throwing out Victor for an entire match. I mean, Connor for an entire match. It's got to be Victor.
You're like, it's Victor, and I was like, wait, what? Like, did you read something? You're like, no, it's Victor, and I'm like, no, it's Connor. You're like, no, it's Victor.
No, unfortunately, it's Victor, and. That's about all I got to say about that match. I love me some Chad Gable, but you know, with the quiet, dull crowd and that opening segment, and then you know, this first hour dragged something fierce, and I was trying to stave off falling asleep. It was that. It was
such a long day.
It was that kind of first hour.
It was getting to me. It was really all I kept doing was, I'm like, Mike, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah. Well, but we did do it.
Did.
And here we are.
We survived. I survived the Chad Gable and Victor match.
Yes.
Which it wasn't terrible.
No, it's not terrible. I love,
No.
and like I said, I love me some Chad Gable.
Yeah.
But damn it, I just,
And you know
I
what,
needed to play somewhere else.
And you
I
know what?
guess.
The Ascension's good too. They've had.
Frank McMahon goes,
let's see.
Chad Gable is such an ugly human being. Okay.
All right. I mean.
And Chad Gable looks like a wrestling midget.
Gosh.
Ouch. Actually, there's an interview with Simon Gotch tomorrow dropping that I had with him at All In, or at StarCast, excuse me. And he really put over Chad Gable big on that podcast, and like what a monster he is. And he actually told a very funny story about him, and I think it was him and Gable going into a wine bar or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
Make sure you check that out on Tuesday. My interview with Rosa Mendez
is up.
Yeah. And I listened back to that interview. I was like, is Rosa Mendez kind of like hitting on me a little bit? Is that
Okay,
a thing?
let me just clarify something.
Is that a thing?
If somebody's nice to you, if a woman is nice to you, doesn't mean they're hitting on you.
I know that, but she said I was cute too. She did say it.
I don't know why. First of all, the comment section last night with after the Hell in the Cell, everyone's like, "Oh, she's eyeballing you. Oh, she's whatever." She was being nice.
Yeah, I know.
She was just being nice.
Yeah, I know.
She's a boyfriend.
Believe me, I know what I look like. I know what I look like. There's no way Rosa Mendez is interested in me. I know
I'm just saying, like, I don't know, like, why everybody's like, "Oh, female's nice to me. They like me." Sorry.
This is
you and everybody else.
This is real life jealousy.
No, it's not jealousy. Believe
lived
you me, honey. It's not jealousy.
Okay.
You should be so lucky.
Apparently I'm not. So, The Undertaker made the big return to the ring. A rare appearance, as Michael Cole said, even though his last appearance was 2 weeks ago. The Undertaker made his entrance and basically cut every single Undertaker promo that you've ever heard in your entire life.
I think Undertaker should just be like this mythical creature that just like from a distance you just worship and you admire, but doesn't actually speak, and you always wonder like what it would say if it did have a voice.
Well, for the longest time, that's what it was. I mean, basically for the first 6 years of his career in WWF, it was Paul Bearer doing all the talking.
I know.
And in fact, I don't think you heard Undertaker talk until he debuted at Survivor Series 1990, and the first time that he talked was right before WrestleMania 8, or like when they were building up to Undertaker versus Jake Roberts, and Jake Roberts goes, "Hey man, just who the hell's side are you on?" And he goes, "Not yours." And that was so. Undertaker does not have a long track record of spectacular promos.
No.
And tonight
was one of those.
Lent to that sad record. It's mostly like the stuff that they write for him now. It's like, I mean, like the stuff that they wrote for him in the Attitude Era and stuff like that was goofy as hell. But like, look at this. The Undertaker says, "They say delusion is the final recourse for the damned, that no man can spin a web of lies like a man that has a broken soul. And I have never seen anyone with a more broken soul than Triple H."
But you know what, too? You even said, though, you're like, he's kind of coming out of a shell a little bit more in the sense. Not coming out of a shell. He's obviously very,
in real life. Yeah, he's got
like,
an Instagram account now.
He's on social media.
Yeah,
and,
he's letting
Michelle McCool's allowed to, post
with
pictures of him and with their, with
no, not with their children. They never show pictures of their kids.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, she has.
No, they don't show the faces though. I don't think.
Yeah,
have they?
she has.
She has.
Yeah, I've seen.
Which one doesn't show the faces then? Might be Michelle McCool. Maybe their youngest one they don't show the face of.
They show the face of their. I've seen them. There was one where they were at a lake. I've seen them.
I thought so one of the superstars puts an emoji over their kid's face.
It's not her. I've seen her. I've seen them.
How about this? We have a nice classy guy in the forum here. Roman Reigns is the GOAT. Victoria, can I get those digits? No, but anyway, back to the Undertaker. He talked about he doesn't care what Triple H thinks. And Triple H said that he lost all of his self-respect But Triple H isn't the game quite like he was. He used to be a warrior. He used to be wicked. He was savage. Now he plays a more corporate game. His battlefield is the boardroom. He's filled with so many lies you can no longer decipher the truth. Stuff like that. And just like the last time they faced, at the end of Super Showdown, he's going to put him 6 feet under. Game over. Yeah. And also, then he put over that, Shawn Michaels going to be there, and he's not flying out there just to sit in the crowd. So, that means Undertaker needs to have some backup.
And who
Obviously,
better?
setting up for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia tag match that we know is coming now. And that brings us to...
Kane.
The mayor of Knoxville County.
I know.
Kane. They're dusting him off.
How do you think that conversation goes? Hey, listen, I have to...
That's
do
weird.
this thing in Australia, and then I have to do this other thing in Saudi Arabia. Like, how do you get that? How do you have that conversation? It's not a very typical.
That's a weird one.
Mayor,
that's a weird one to go to town council and be like, "All right, I'm going to appoint." Gee, Mr. Mayor, can you stick around and do the job that we voted you to do?
It's just so funny.
I know it's weird.
It's a very.
I couldn't imagine.
situation.
I don't even know who the mayor of our town is, to be honest with you.
I know the mayor
But
of
if
our
he-
school town, and I can't even imagine him being in a wrestling match.
But we don't even know the name of that mayor though. He's a new mayor, and
But we knew them because we had.
we knew the prior mayor,
We knew the previous mayor because we had his daughters.
right?
But
For students,
yeah.
But but if the mayor of our town was going to Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, like, dude, come on.
I want to look up the mayor of our town. I'm just curious now.
Look it up while I
Okay.
finish up this Undertaker thing. So
Okay.
we got, so it basically every single Undertaker promo that you've ever heard. But I am now more convinced than ever that we are going to get Kane and the Undertaker, the Brothers of Destruction versus DX at the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia at the WWE Crown Jewel. And boy, will that be exciting, I guess.
Yeah, I don't foresee her wrestling the mayor of our town.
No. Okay.
Her term ends, by the way, December 31st.
Oh, so she can join WWE right after that. Then. That's
She
great.
can join Kane
in
in a mixed tag challenge.
We had another video package showing the highlights of the Roman Reigns Braun Strowman thing, which we already saw earlier in the show, which was just another time kill.
Cool.
And then they ran through the matches that we're going to see tonight. And then they did another video package, but this one was much nicer for the children of the Dallas Children's Hospital, which was very sweet.
I cannot
Very sweet.
I cannot hate on Bailey and Sasha for this one.
This is the one week that we can't completely crapola on everything that they've done.
They were absolutely sweet with those kids.
Oh yeah, and they better be. Can you imagine if Sasha Banks gave one of them a bank statement?
No, I know, but I'm just saying, just Sasha Banks normally with the fans is very standoffish, but you could tell she was very genuine when she visited the hospital and when she was with the kids.
Oh sure, yeah, she's standoffish with fans that are like, oh, can I get an autograph while she's trying to get her freaking luggage? That's standoffish. But she should sign an autograph every now and then if she catches somebody at a restaurant or something like that. As long as she's not eating. If she's walking in, it's like take a picture with somebody. She doesn't do any of that stuff. And I know Bubba Ray Dudley has called her to task on that in the past.
But you know what? I think, and I think that it was actually the right moment for those kids to come out with them.
Yeah.
Because
sweet.
Bailey's very
Bailey's like
positive,
the big kid.
And, and a lot of kids do like her.
Right.
So,
Right.
and since it was nice. It was very, very nice.
Yeah, it was cute. I can't say the same for Bailey's actual match against Dana Brooke. It's just that's just something that happened. Dana Brooke
Dana
away
Brooke's
from
a heel
Titus
now?
O'Neil. Yeah, she broke up with Titus Worldwide last week. Remember?
Yeah.
Because I don't. I totally forgot about that, and then it was like, oh yeah, she broke up. I was like, okay, well that happened.
You know what?
Who cares?
There was only one thing I have to say about the match, though. Dana Brooke, she was, I don't know the move specifically, but she was dropping her knee into her stomach repeatedly. That looked pretty good. When she was doing that, she did it 4 times. She just had
the knees to
on
the
the
stomach.
ground.
Yeah.
But no, I'm saying the way she did it though, when she did the kind of handstand into it, she looked pretty good with that.
Yeah, she looked like a wrestler, I guess. The handspring back elbow is always a good move, from her. But she's missing an it factor for me.
Well, yeah.
A big time it factor.
I gave her credit for that part of the match.
Couple guys who aren't missing an it factor, AOP. And,
just
honestly,
thing,
okay, so let me just say that, like, up until, like, the Bayley match, that was, like, the 9:30, that's the halfway point. 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, that's the halfway point for Raw. And that first hour and a half dragged something fierce. A tacky Undertaker promo, one decent match with Dean Ambrose and Drew McIntyre, and a whole bunch of filler and bad segments. This turned it around for me. I don't know why.
No.
A simple squash match.
Okay.
I love these guys.
Jeffrey Adam Phillips.
Oh, he's back. Good.
He wrote on the Wrestleview page, well, this was an oddly... Oh. No. This was an oddity for Raw these days. The second half of the show was actually where it picked up LOL.
Yeah. Yep. I have to agree with him. I'm just watching GIFs of...
and Zach Steven.
Akam slamming this one dude. I mean, he really beat the crap out of
Zach
these
Steven,
people.
Whitlow, and against Monday Night Football, no less. So, yeah, it's true. It really picked up at this point.
And the Emmys. But I don't really think that the Emmys is, like, WWE's, like, core demographic anyway. So, like, I don't really think...
Yeah, there's a lot of good shows that people might tune in
to. People just tune in,
support.
To watch. I know a lot of people always tune in for, like, the openings of, like, the award shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, because that's...
But I can't watch award shows anymore. They're too damn political. Oh God! Like I want to watch a bunch of millionaires tell me how I should be thinking. Give me a break.
Sorry, I went on that tangent before. I just got
No. I mean,
I just felt like I had to say it.
No, it has to do with our genre that we're talking about, and it's a pressing issue.
I didn't mean to anyone even be like, oh, why stop talking, Victoria.
No, we had nothing like that in the comments, and I'm sure we're not going to get any blowback from it.
AOP though,
I just love watching him kill people. Drake Maverick is so funny.
He looked like an Oompa Loompa tonight because he's extra tan and he was just so tiny.
He went way overboard on the spray tan tonight, man.
He looked like an Oompa Loompa.
Let me see if I can find a picture of Drake Maverick.
Did he not?
He did look.
Come on, if you're in the chat, tell me he didn't look like an Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, I mean, please. If anybody actually saw, I gotta find a picture of Drake Maverick because he was a little Oompa Loompa-ish.
The memes though are just incredible.
Oh my God, the memes of AOP and Drake Maverick. Oh man, when Big Brother lets you go out for Halloween.
Yeah, guys, Halloween.
That's my favorite. Here, I think I got something here. Yeah. Okay, here's our little Oompa Loompa boy.
He's Oompa Loompa tonight.
Oh, that was great when he just lifted up the guy for no reason.
Yeah.
He had it going on tonight. That spray tan was something special.
But it's working though. Having Maverick is 100%. You're into AOP now.
Well, number one, yeah, like AOP was dead for
forever, for a while.
Like they came up without Paul Ellering. They left him high and dry on the Raw after WrestleMania, which was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Because Paul Ellering was I don't mind traveling to the shows and stuff like that, but Vince and his thing can't have old people on TV. Even if Paul Ellering doesn't look old, he looks like a psychotic dude. But whatever. So AOP floundered. I think they at one point they had a visa issue, so they couldn't even wrestle.
Oh,
they
really?
couldn't do anything.
Wow.
And then they got that straightened out, but they were floundering. They had them cutting I mean, oh my God, when Razor cut a freaking promo against Titus O'Neil. Oh my God, that was so bad.
Cringeworthy.
Oh, that was cringy. That was like Natalya cutting a promo cringeworthy. So freaking bad. Except without the smiling. Oh, there's something about her. Yes, Rhonda. Yes, I think you should challenge and make an open challenge, and you're gonna go out there and just demand a fight. She just can't stop. She feels like she has to smile at everything. It's friggin' weird. I don't know. It's so bizarre, so strange. But I just love watching AOP crush people.
Oh, that was great. And the picking up the guy on the way to the arena. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was hilarious, and I'm glad I just showed the GIF of that. I didn't put it in the recap, so that was awesome. So Dolph Ziggler was promised an Intercontinental Championship match from Baron Corbin earlier in the night.
Yes.
Who said that Rollins wasn't there and that Rollins was really banged up and wasn't going to be able to fight. So he'll lose by forfeit, and Ziggler will be awarded the title. Of course, Rollins shows up. They have a match.
I love this.
This
favorite part of favorite part of the whole night. Honestly, that was fantastic. The two of them are gold together.
I know
they really are. They are just like they're like a dream match. They really are.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. Like I know I harp on it a lot, and one day I'm gonna have that damn discussion with Doug Lackey about and debate whether Seth Rollins is the best in the world. I'm sorry, there is no debate. He is the best in the world. This guy does. There's not one aspect of his game that is lacking.
No.
Really, maybe his promos could be tightened up just a little bit.
I don't think
but
so.
Like
I have to disagree.
He takes a lot of bad material. This is why I like Rollins so much. Well, one of the many reasons why I like Rollins so much. He takes a lot of bad material and makes something of it, and keeps the fans on his side, because like they sometimes give him stuff that's like so bad. It's like, when are the fans gonna like eventually have enough of this? Like I was saying that when he was doing his feud against Triple H last year, I was like, God, this is some like really, this is like Roman Reigns 2015 level of bad writing for a babyface. And I thought that the fans were eventually gonna go poo-pooey on Seth Rollins, and they didn't. You know, they stuck with him, so he's able to keep the fans. He doesn't love it. Which is really, really exciting to me. And on top of that, he sells really well. He has a great flashy moveset and it's supremely, amazingly athletic. I mean, I don't think anybody has better stamina than Seth Rollins on the roster right now, except for Dolph Ziggler.
Yep.
And that's why
they're the great matchup.
That's where this big resurgence came from. Other than a really poor Iron Man match, which the crowd contributed a lot to screwing up. But also, like, they booked it really poorly as well. There was, questionable tactics in that Iron Man match. But for the most part,
and for a very quiet crowd,
they've had a great series of matches.
For a very quiet crowd, this is where they got into it.
Yeah, they woke up.
You couldn't help it.
And that's another reason why he's the best in the world. He gets a quiet crowd going.
This was a really exceptionally quiet crowd, and they.
Well, to be fair, like Jeffrey Adam Phillips said,
I know.
It was a bad first hour and a half.
I'm just saying, but it really, really turned it around. That was like the climax of the whole evening.
That's right. Ashley is my name. Ashley says Seth is CrossFit Jesus. So I have to get that name right. Oh yeah, I like this. Quentin Walter says Seth Rollins is not the best in the world. Seth Rollins is a GOAT, the greatest of all time. Okay. Yes, I love the nickname GOAT, by the way.
Your students call you GOAT.
Yeah, my students always call me the GOAT. But the best in the world does have negative connotations now. CM junk.
Oh, God.
Ashley says, every time I see Drake with AOP, I think of Cookie Monster singing one of these things is not like the other things. That's a great callback. I
like that.
That's a really great callback.
Yeah.
So the story of this match, this Intercontinental Championship match, is it's
really developing.
They both really sold their injuries well from Hell in a Cell. Obviously, they took the big hellacious
bump. They are the
bump.
best.
They took a really, really terrible bump at Hell in a Cell. And it's kind of weird. Like I couldn't imagine, like, okay, you guys aren't booked in Hell in a Cell, but we booked a main event that was like so, like, our finish is going to be so bad. We need to do a whole bunch of stuff. But I also, like, so you have to fall off the side of the cell and just go through these tables. Please do it for us. But also, to do that also kind of eliminated, like, why wouldn't they run out when Brock Lesnar comes out? So that kind of, it was a twofold thing. But, like, I couldn't imagine, like, that conversation, like, sitting down, like, okay, you guys are going to make a run in, climb the cell, and fall off. Like, what? Okay, do I get a main event payout for that, please?
Honestly, I really think that the both of them, being who they are, were probably like, okay.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, they're probably like, yeah, I'm on board. Dolph Ziggler's always like, okay, like, let him give me a pile driver off the top of the cell.
Yeah,
I love the bump.
Honestly, I think the two of them, I don't doubt in my mind that they were like, sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
It's going to be awesome. I can't see anything that could go wrong with this.
Ziggler comes off very full of himself for sure, and even in his real life personality. But I think that because it had a purpose to it, that it wasn't just like, okay, you just fall off and we will do nothing with it. Like, right. It brought something, and the fact that they, leading up to their match tonight and their injuries made sense. Right.
They had a really great finish at the pay-per-view last night too, and they had another good finish here, and I'm showing it right now on YouTube. But for those that aren't watching, they did the superplex spot again. And every time they whipped into the corner, I love that they were like, oh, they really sold that damn back well. Rollins hits the superplex and he's screaming in pain and he's still going to go for the Falcon Arrow, like classic baby face, fighting through all the pain, fighting the odds. And Ziggler rolls him up. Rollins kicks out, hits the curb stomp. Good stuff. Really, really fun match. And really, my hat's off to them because I'm sure there was some protection on the tables and stuff like that, but still, you're taking a bump from pretty damn high up. And this cell is way bigger than the one that McFoley flew off of, 20 years ago. And to go through the tables and then have to less than 24 hours later have a match. My hat's off to them.
It was better than the Eve Torres Karma.
Almost as good.
Sorry.
So we had Ronda Rousey. We had Ronda Rousey out there to make an open challenge. This
poor thing. She was so nervous.
Yeah, she
was very nervous tonight.
I don't think that they can leave her alone in the ring for a promo without anybody in there to even kind of nudge her in the right direction. I almost felt like she was standing there, she's like, to me, it really seemed like she forgot her lines for a couple of seconds and she kind of froze up and she was just kind of giggling and trying to think of the line. And it seemed like she was looking to
somebody,
like a stage manager or something like that. What's my line? What's my line? It reminded me, remember the Raw after WrestleMania in 2012 when Randy Orton forgot his lines and he goes, "What's my line again?" And he had to ask Big Show. She was alone in the ring. I get it. She's the champion now. It's eventually the kid gloves are going to have to come off. Adam talked about this last night that he's kind of tired of seeing Ronda Rousey just do something and then it's like, okay, we're supposed to like her. You kind of want to get a little deeper in, into the character development. So we're waiting on that. But not really much character development can come until she really masters her promos or at least gets a little better with it. This one was really severely missing something.
Yeah, she just, I really think she was genuinely nervous. I think.
Yeah.
I think because now that she opened up about her speech impediment too, that she probably is thinking okay, I opened this can of worms. Now people are really going to be critical of me.
Yeah, they could be.
But
people are just mean.
Yeah, but she
It was an odd promo though. I mean, she was like she congratulates Alexa Bliss on being a better fighter than she thought she was going to be. And then she said, "I want to be the best champion you guys have ever seen. I want to be like Bret Hart. I want to be like Stone Cold, Ric Flair, and that's why I'm issuing an open challenge." And then all of a sudden it was just like, "Okay, got to get my mean face on. If any woman in the locker room has the gumption to try to take her on, let's see who it is." She used the word gumption. I used the word gumption. I wouldn't use that in a wrestling promo. That seemed like, nerdy writer. Here it is. Yeah, I'm going to use my nerdy words.
Here he goes again.
It's going to sound really cool if Ronda Rousey says gumption.
Gumption.
Everybody's like, what the? Gumption? With the mean face on? I'm ugh. It was like, oh boy. And this whole entire thing, so my main thought tonight is that, they're going to, they kind of tease that there's going to be 3 title matches tonight. The Intercontinental title, which obviously was the better match of all, of course. The women's title match never even happened. It really just turned into a glorified angle to set up the how many freaking shows are it? Super Showdown. Damn it. Yeah, so it's the Riot Squad beat up Natalya, who
they dragged her out.
Who did her best performance ever because she finally, she is a piece of wood and she got to finally pose as a piece of wood being dragged out. So that was Natalya's finest performance on Raw in quite some time. And then it's the Bella Twins made the save. So it's the Bella Twins and Ronda Rousey versus the Riot Squad. Fun stuff with Ronda Rousey tossing them around a little bit. Still selling the ribs, which I like. But this was just okay.
It was just okay.
It just didn't click for me. And this was, you're going to have nights like that. So it's not anything like, oh God, Ronda Rousey's totally exposed and she's done. No, but she didn't have a good night.
She was definitely a lot more nervous than she usually is for whatever reason.
Yeah, this was not her night.
But whatever.
Yeah, it happens.
Who cares? At this point, I'm like, who cares?
Just,
you know.
The best part about this, even before they went to commercial, was Braun Strowman coming up to Baron Corbin. I love this.
This is a great.
Like I said earlier, you suck. Corbin's face. I'm looking at it right here on the GIF. If you can't see, he's so hurt. He's so hurt. It was so that was good stuff. So Braun Strowman is like, even though he's a heel, he's still kind of doing that fun babyface stuff.
Exactly.
This leads to probably one of my probably my second favorite segment of the entire night.
Really?
Oh yeah, with Elias. Well, Elias first of all had a killer blues riff. He always does that little improv stuff. His riffing is pretty damn good.
Oh yeah, he's a good guitar player.
He's a great guitar player. I like the stuff. If I had my way, we'd have 3 hours of Elias. This show, and it was another odd way of phrasing things because the show actually wasn't that great, and then he showed up. So it's like, yes, oh, how bad this show can be before I show up. It's like, well, yeah, it is. It wasn't very good tonight, but then he showed up, and it actually was. I thought I enjoyed it. I think I see where you're going. You didn't really enjoy it, but before you go on, I just want to say, like, they brought out Lio Rush because Elias supposed to face Bobby Lashley. They paired Bobby Lashley with Lio Rush last week from 205 Live, the Man of the Hour, something else, the 23-year-old piece of gold, and this guy can talk, and Lashley has needed somebody to talk for him. They
should have done this from the beginning.
They should have, but I don't think they knew just how.
No, they probably didn't really know.
Well, I mean, they booked Bobby Lashley in some of the worst segments that you could ever possibly book for somebody. With the Bobby Lashley sisters, he was dead on arrival from that point on. There's really no recovering. They did a nice little resurrection package with him going against Roman Reigns, and then he lost to Roman Reigns and disappeared. He hasn't been on 2 straight pay-per-views now. It's odd.
It is odd, but
the Lio Rush interaction was fun, especially when because he's so damn small. And then Elias goes, "You're like, hold on, whose kid is this?" It was so funny. Really, it was a good. Even the crowd that was sleepy laughed. Lio Rush was good. What say you?
Lio Rush was great. I really liked him. I'm finding Elias to be a little stale right now.
Stale?
Yeah.
Elias?
Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. I know it's the same shtick every week, but
I don't mind when something's the same shtick. I just.
But I think that's why I like him, because it's the same stuff and it kind of works all the time. Doing the whole entire thing. The riff, and then it's like, who wants to walk with Elias? I don't know. I just find it. I laughed tonight when he actually did it, because it was like, oh my god, he does the same stuff every week, and everybody gets into it. WWE stands for Walk with Elias. He always finds a way to get all of his little catchphrases in there.
Yeah.
It's there does need to be a little more, I guess, development on Elias. I'd like to see him do a little more. But he's also been battling an injury too, so that's why he's been more limited in action.
Right. And I think that's probably why too. I think at some point you have to move forward. I know they want to keep the momentum going, but you have to move forward. From,
right.
With the character, and I just feel like they're not. And I love Elias, I do, but if you keep it the same,
yeah.
Eventually, it's going to catch up to you.
Of course,
if you don't, and then that's what I worry about. And I Lashley is just to me, the fact that he needed somebody
he's a bust.
Yeah, he needed somebody for so long, and it's
he's
is it too late?
We'll see. It might be.
And I'm not into this feud.
Well, no, I don't like. I don't like Elias versus Bobby Lashley. I don't even like Elias. I don't even like Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens either. I don't see any potential for it.
No.
It's not gonna look good. But I'm gonna show a couple of gifs of what Lio Rush did during this match. He was on commentary, did a good job of putting Lashley over. But it was the stuff that he did, in the post match, where he's moonsault, he's backflipping, he's leapfrogging, he's rolling, he's doing all this crazy stuff. Lio Rush in one night on Raw showed up Bobby Lashley in a huge way.
Yeah.
And that's going to be an issue for Bobby Lashley.
But that's what I mean. I think Lio Rush is going to get something out of this, but Lashley's not.
I don't think he's too small. He's way too small.
No, I'm not saying as far as a match. I'm not saying that. I'm saying as far as he's going to get over in a different aspect than Lashley ever could even.
Oh yeah, and he did it tonight. He Lio Rush looked like a superstar.
Sold the show.
He looked like a superstar,
and that's and all of that, and it's like it's not good.
Right.
You're supposed to complement each other.
Right.
You're supposed to, benefit one another. You're not supposed. One's not supposed to like significantly outweigh the other person. Like with Maverick and AOP, it's working because they're playing into their strengths and they'll play into his strengths. Somehow there's a different commodity that's going on there.
Well, they're not so dull like Bobby Lashley. They're going to be outshined by Drake Maverick.
That's right. But
it was like a weird thing
it's bizarre.
That, Lio Rush cost Bobby Lashley the match too. I mean, yeah, he was being chased by Kevin Owens, but like when he kicked Elias, that lost Bobby Lashley the match. And damn, was Bobby Lashley just dull in that match even before the run-in. It was like, Lio Rush was stealing the show on commentary. He did a great job running down the ramp and doing all the stuff. Bobby Lashley just didn't shine at all. The best thing that Bobby Lashley did was press slam Lio Rush onto Owens and Elias right there. But like that was just him just setting up a move for Rush.
Yeah, no,
it was like
I said,
no one cared about Bobby Lashley. All they cared about was Lio Rush.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think. I mean, this matchup's going to be great for now, but eventually it's just going to turn into.
It could serve as like a platform to like Lio Rush, like
maybe for somebody else,
right? Or it could be somebody else, or it could be like Lio Rush is like he's a good talker, and like I know it's one night, of course, and I shouldn't be going crazy on it, but there's something to be said that like Lio Rush showed a lot tonight. Like, is it too? I know it's too soon, but could he be a potential authority figure on WWE one day at some point? Or like some kind of goofy like lackey or assistant or something like that. Like where he has like a major part on the show.
Right.
He has that kind of talent.
Yeah. Right.
I like Lio Rush. Still, jury's still out on the Bobby Lashley thing. Just passing through this real quick. Nia Jax is back. She teamed with Ember Moon to take on Mickie James and Alicia Fox. And they, of course, Nia Jax won in her return. I would hope she would. It happened.
And she won she won that E award.
Yeah, the E award.
For women's choice.
Yeah, if an award starts where you have to actually say hashtag blank blank award, whatever this award was, it's like
she's up against Nikki Bella.
Yeah, but is it like a real award? It's like ugh, it's like one of those like stupid things where it's like we have a partnership with we have a show on the network and a partnership with them, like throw our wrestlers one of these things, and
I think
so we could say that she got over on Octavia Spencer or something like that, or like just. I
think,
it was just weird to me.
Yeah. I think, I just feel bad for Ember Moon because I think she should be way higher up in the women's division than she is right now.
Yeah. Yeah. She's waiting her turn. She'll get there eventually. But I do think that she needs to have her face shown a little more.
Yeah.
I'd like to even see her team with like Ronda Rousey or something like that. Get her that kind of exposure. Yeah, I got the Bella Twins, like that's the big match for Evolution, but like I think that, Ember Moon should be snuck in there every now and then to go with,
because she's worthy of it and she's capable.
She's good. She's got a good look. She's got a lot of passion. She's got a good moveset. She's much flashier.
She's unique.
Yeah, she's unique, much flashier than the others. Than a majority of the women on the Raw roster. Our main event. WWE Universal Championship match. Baron Corbin versus Roman Reigns. And didn't take long for the rest holds to come out. One commercial break, and Corbin spent most of the time with rest holds. Hey, and the in and out sliding clothesline. It's like I've seen the Corbin show one too many times.
Too many.
It's
and for your main event.
Yeah, and watching a guy wrestle in this like button down shirt now, it's like, okay, you can't take the shirt off. Like, I get it. Like, they're trying to hide his weaknesses and stuff like that. And obviously his midsection is a weakness. You know, like that he had like a little soft skin there. Not a good look, I guess. That's not a look that Vince McMahon likes, so he's going to cover him up. Shave your head, you're losing your hair. It's like they did all these things to kind of repackage him, but like he's goofier than ever. Like, he had a really bad night again with his promos. Like, they were really bad. The thing with the referee was belittling him.
They're so confusing because, you know, when he first became this, you know, the acting general manager and then was, you know, the Constable Corbin, it was supposed to be like this tough authority figure who wasn't going to take no for an answer, go over on him, but like the people you wouldn't expect to go over on him, it's like the whole dynamic is it changed.
Odd booking.
It changed because he was supposed to be like this guy of like, no, Stephanie McMahon, and like you're gonna listen to what I say, and
right.
You know, he tried as best he could to be like that intimidating authority figure, but he just looks like somebody you can completely walk all over.
Yeah, he's.
And if he's supposed to be like Stephanie's like right hand person, it's like
he doesn't come off as like intimidating or authoritarian.
No, and I get it. Like, I get it. If Braun Strowman's approaching you, you're not going to be like, especially. But it's just
he's like the male Natalia. He comes off as like the guy who's like, okay, this is what heels do, and I'm just gonna do this. It's like, but there's like so many weaknesses in his game.
It's just he doesn't know what he. But yeah, it shifted so fast. And I don't know if that was purposeful because they're like, okay, well, you're not coming off as intimidating, so maybe we have to make you like this goofy, like, you know.
Right. It's just like he's. I don't know. There's like they've tried so many different ways to get this guy over and to have some success with him, and this seems like a last ditch. You know, like this is like the last chance. And if you can't get over here, then you know we don't know what we're gonna do with you. They gave him the Money in the Bank. He wasn't ready. They had him lose the Money in the Bank.
They've been trying.
Put him in a feud with John Cena. Didn't work out well. The Dolph Ziggler opening feud for him, his first inaugural feud, was a disaster. Andre the Giant Battle Royal meant nothing.
Nah,
and he floated around. He had a U.S. title reign, which meant nothing. Baron Corbin's just been existing on the roster, and this run as the heel authority figure it's really just not working out.
No,
it really isn't. He's not getting the kind of heat that's like, okay, I want to see this guy get beat up. It's just like I just
you just don't want to see him at all.
Like, if I see him on my TV, it's like I really want to just turn the channel because I'm just not interested. I'm not interested in seeing one more authority figure, you know, get a ton of power, get built up for a while, and then he eventually gets taken down. I don't want to watch that story progression again because I've been watching that damn story progression for the last 20 years, over 20 years. You know, they've done the heel authority figure on WWE to death. You know, Vince McMahon forever, Stephanie and Triple H forever. Shane even was a heel even Linda McMahon turned heel at one point. All over the last 20 years, it's like that's enough. Eric Bischoff as the heel GM, the anonymous Raw general manager. You know, it's okay to have like that commissioner that you don't really see and he only comes out for the big stuff like Jack Tunney used to do. I'm not saying like go back to like have a Jack Tunney kind of thing, but like wrestling existed and the television shows were just fine before they had the heel authority figure. And they will be just fine if they do away with that. At the end of the day, it's a storyline. And all storylines can end and you can move on to something else. Make it more about, you know, get back to like making the matches mean something again. Because I think the one thing that I took away from All In was that if you put enough promotion behind a match, like the Cody and Nick versus Nick Aldis match, and you do a couple of video packages and you just sell the match itself, you don't need to have like, okay, well, Cody got screwed by, you know, the Raw GM and this is going to be his big time and he had this big fight to get there. It's just like if you book the match really, really well, people are going to respond to it. And that's why Cody got such a ginormous response at All In. The heel authority figure doesn't need to be in WWE anymore, has no place. It's so archaic, and it's time to move on. I just don't know how much more I can take of Baron Corbin, Stephanie McMahon, and all that stuff. You know, they had a golden opportunity with the draft split, with the brand split, to get rid of this and kind of just have, like, you know, GMs that are just there every now and then to make the big matches, and instead they doubled down on Stephanie and Shane. Although Shane now has been gone for a while, and Stephanie has too. But particularly for Raw's sake, they left the heel GM. It's like, oh God, I've just had enough. I really have had enough, and it's just never ending. And it's time to move on. That's all I got to say about that. In the meantime, you know, Corbin had the match, and it was just a match.
Roman Reigns sold really well.
Yeah, he did a good job.
He did a great job, and the poor thing, selling once again for somebody like Corbin.
Yeah, trying
his best to make it like legitimate match here.
Yeah,
and, but he did it though. Because there's some guys you look at when they're wrestling and you know that they really don't want to wrestle against that person, and you see it in their face. Yeah. He didn't do that. He really made it like, oh yeah, this is gonna be tough.
Right.
Like, this is like.
Yeah, he did a good job of trying to like portray Baron Corbin as a threat, which
is hard to do.
Which is very hard to do.
But he tried, and he sold even more because he really didn't sell all that much when he came out in the beginning of the night, but he sold quite a bit, during the actual match. So I give him credit for that.
No doubt. Yeah, he did a very, very good job with that. When Corbin threw the chair in his face and got disqualified by the referee, he sold his nose really well. He kept going back to it. I like stuff like that. Makes it seem like it's like, oh, did he really break his nose? I like thinking things like that.
Right, you like thinking that maybe there's a potential.
I don't like. You
don't want them to actually have an injury,
be injured, but I'm like, I want to be brought into it where I'm like, oh my God, is he like really hurt?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I want. I want to be brought into the match.
Exactly. Really invest into it.
And Reigns definitely brought me into the match in that way. So he got DQ'd, then he made them restart the match with no disqualifications. Obviously, that's how he beat Finn Balor, at one point. And Roman Reigns still comes out on top after they do like all the run-ins. They had Strowman come out, they had McIntyre and Ziggler come out, then Ambrose and Rollins came out.
Ambrose and Rollins, those are suicide dives.
That's how you do a suicide dive.
Those are suicide dives.
Yeah, I got it right here. You're right on cue. Thank you, dear. Yeah, that's how you do a suicide dive.
Those are suicide dives. They were so in sync.
Yeah, take that, Brie Bella.
Oh, stop it. I'm not going to talk about Brie Bella, okay?
I know. But
leave her alone.
But like,
leave Brie Bella alone.
I know. But this is very reminiscent of like the main event that they had last night, where like the first half was dull and in particular Baron Corbin controlling it. But like it was like the Hell in a Cell main event. It was a dull match. It wasn't particularly good. There was a couple good things that Roman Reigns did in it, but there was nothing like that made me like, oh my God, this is really great. But it was like all the run-in stuff that they did that kind of saved it. Like, like the match last night was saved by the Brock Lesnar stuff and the Ambrose, Rollins, McIntyre, and Ziggler stuff. They can kind of like smoke and mirror things to make it passable. And they made this main event passable. And at the end of the day, I enjoyed the main event. I guess I could say I actually enjoyed it.
Me too.
But overall on the show, I got to give it a thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Yeah, and it's not.
I don't need him. I don't need it.
It's not even like like a sort of thumbs down. It's like
no, it's a thumbs down.
It's a damn thumbs down. It's just not.
Even though with the Rollins and Ziggler match, it's still a thumbs down. Yeah. Not the match, but the show overall.
Yeah, I mean. Rollins and Ziggler had a good match, but one good match is not enough to save a show for me. It just isn't. So let's see how everybody's agreeing with us, if they are agreeing with us. And, oh, yes, they certainly are. We have 63 votes, just a little over an hour and a half in right now. Massive thumbs down, 73%. Mm-hmm. Almost three quarters saying it's not a good show. And
sometimes I like agree. The past few weeks it's been like 50-40, whatever. But
yeah,
this was one where I was like, it's definitely going to be thumbs down.
Yeah, no, this one's a solid
Majority.
thumbs down, without question. You know, a couple good things, but not enough to save it. So it's our first negative review of the show for sure. But I still had a good time talking about it. Actually, this was way more entertaining than anything that was on the show tonight. And we hope you enjoyed it with us here. There's some wrestling news, but it's like we're already kind of deep into this, and it's getting hot. Like every time we do this show,
it's so hot.
We get hot. I don't know why. Like we get overheated doing this show.
Oh my gosh!
It's like
I feel
so
like I'm
weird.
Like I can't even.
I feel like I'm melting right now. I like what Quentin Walters calls Baron Corbin. By the way, Baron Corbin.
Meh. I like that. I'm gonna use that from now on. Baron Corbin. Meh.
Yeah. Well, he is. He's very meh.
True.
I said that I would bring it up last night on the show with the Matt Hardy thing because he is a Raw superstar anyway. Weird stuff going on with him. What do you think about Matt Hardy?
He's really retiring?
Who knows? Who knows with this guy? He always says like these like weird things. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm done." You know.
I don't have much of an opinion. I mean, if he really is injured the way the way the media portrayed it, then I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean,
right.
I mean that in the nicest way possible. That obviously that's happened to many people over the years. Sometimes you just have to get forced into retirement because of like false retirements. I think they're stupid. Like, right. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're retiring this, you're doing that. Like yeah, I don't like that stuff. I also don't like you know, I mean I've checked out Matt Hardy with all of his YouTube videos and stuff like that. Like I checked out years ago on him when he was like saying like he was made a YouTube video where he made it seem like he was gonna commit suicide and stuff like that. So yeah,
you know, it's like so he's just a weird dude.
Yeah, he's a very weird guy, and like I listen, like I said, if he truly was like injured, I'm so sorry. Right, that's terrible.
Yeah, but like a return of like regular Matt Hardy was not something I was particularly clamoring for.
I don't really care. You know, like I'm not like. Yay!
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm more into Jeff. Like, you know, like honestly.
Yeah, and Jeff obviously was always the more talented of the Hardy brothers.
But like, you know, it's
just is what it is.
It is what it is, and I don't really have an opinion either way.
I know. If
you're injured, you know.
I know. Another thing that was the news this week was that Chris Jericho said that it's a lot more fun to not work for Vince McMahon and do things in the United States. See, like right there when you say that you know, like he wasn't saying that when he was in the company. You got to be away from the company before you can even talk out against it. But I don't think that Jericho said anything out of school that nobody else in the company kind of thinks too. You know, but it's just the WWE. There's just a lot more money to be made. Yeah.
And if they like you, they like you.
Of course.
What I'm saying is, it's like if they kind of like you, you still may not get an opportunity. But if they really like you, you have to be like Vince McMahon has to be obsessed with you in order for you to really.
Well, there's only one guy he's obsessed with. You know, there's
only
like a few, like very few, and that's not just Roman Reigns. It's there's a very.
I'm saying
few
currently.
Yeah, very very.
You know
few
what I mean?
But
that's the only way. I mean, I can see where he's coming from. I guess you know what I mean. Like if you're not, if Vince McMahon almost doesn't see that potential in you right away, it's kind of like you're whatever. So
I know. Well, I can see there's something going on with our internet right now. So we're dropping frames at a rate that is stunning. So I think that's our cue that we should get going here. But we enjoyed talking with everybody tonight in the chat room. We thank you all for joining us. We still have a pretty good amount of people in the chat room, which is really great. We appreciate anybody who's listening to us. Download us on iTunes or listen to us on SoundCloud. We are always so appreciative of that, and it makes us feel really good whenever we hear about our download reports and stuff like that. So very cool thing. We'll be back next week for Post Raw number 8.
My lucky number.
Yeah, that's right. Victoria, April 8th, baby. So she's 8 is her number. So it's a big.
It's gonna be the best.
It's gonna be the best Post
Raw.
It's gonna be the best Post Raw
ever.
So tune in next week for the best Post Raw show ever.
Gosh, now we're gonna build it up.
Yeah, now we're gonna screw it up. But it's gonna be fun. We'll see. Hopefully the audio works. That was a big botch last week. So sorry. Oh, no, it was 2 weeks.
2 weeks
that was
ago.
2 weeks ago now.
2 weeks
okay.
ago.
See, I botched, even on my botch. Talking about my botch. Not good. Okay, everybody. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us. Bye.